Assistant Secretary at the US Department of Homeland Security. Thank you very much indeed, Thomas, for your time. I suspect we could devote a whole programme to this, but we've only got a few minutes. So how do you begin to assess the past year of Donald Trump's presidency, beginning with trade wars? It's included immigration crackdowns, conflicts in the Middle East, threats to rip up NATO, and that's not to mention the kidnapping of a foreign head of state.
Well, all of what you say is what happened. There were some successes, but there were a number of disappointments. One of the more striking things is that President Trump has seen his approval rating go down among the American people, but primarily not for any of the reasons that you described, but rather because he was elected on the basis of promising to make prices cheaper for Americans, and this hasn't happened yet. His report card on the economy has been the main source why his approval rating has gone down. But still, a number of things he has said and done have been to the frustration of many Americans. The immigration crackdown that most Americans supported has gone too far in the eyes of most Americans. His overseas efforts, although he promised he would not get the United States into many wars and that he would end the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, obviously he's made some progress on Gaza, but nowhere near enough, as your previous segments have just described. And in the war in Ukraine is still going on. So obviously there's a lot of room for improvement, but Americans as a whole do not regard with great enthusiasm the progress so far.
Now, the second year of a second term has traditionally been perilous for US presidents. You mentioned those falling approval ratings. Yeah. There's also some signs of resistance from the Supreme Court. Could we be looking, even in Donald Trump's case, at a lame duck president?
Well, by definition, any president becomes lame duck the day after his second inauguration. The most striking thing about tariffs, for example, especially relating to Greenland, is he may lose the authority to do that this week. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to rule on whether he has the authority under the statute he has used to say, this is what authorizes me to impose these tariffs. And many observers expect that the Supreme Court will say you can't do that. And this would obviously affect whatever he's thinking about for Greenland and for other trade disputes as well.
Much of what Donald Trump has done would have doomed any other leader, but of course he is not like any previous president. But how do you think we'll look back on his second term, his second 4 years in power, all the disruption, the attempts to rip up the world order?
Well, and with 3 years to go, many Americans are not sure what is going to happen next. There's a wide expectation that the Democrats will take over at least the House of Representatives, and it's possible the United States could fall into a budget gridlock if the two sides cannot agree on basic things like budgets, whether to restrain the immigration and customs enforcement people. President Trump is now talking about putting troops on the streets of some American cities. That will become even more controversial and probably deeply unpopular with most Americans. So very clearly, he's determined to plow ahead with his agenda, and we will see what the reaction of the American people to all of this turns out to be.
Yeah, I suspect it'll be compulsive viewing, Thomas, and it certainly will not be dull. We thank you very much indeed for your time. Thomas Warrick there joining us from the US.
That is certainly true.